You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
GOP senator throws Rubio's words back in his face as Trump ignores secretary's warning, based on an article by Matthew Raza. Trump turns the Strait of Hormuz into a toll booth. The story in one sentence: Trump is openly claiming the United States can collect a 20% toll on shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, even though Marco Rubio said in June that no country is allowed to charge fees on an international waterway. And John Cornyn is now using that contradiction to jab at Trump after Trump backed Cornyn's primary challenger, Ken Paxton, who actually holds power. This is not a story about diplomatic confusion. It is a story about presidential power being used as a blunt instrument. Trump is the one making the announcement. Rubio is the one providing the legal alibi when it suits him. Cornyn is not steering policy. He is reacting to it after being politically humiliated. The institutional center of gravity is the White House, not the senator who is suddenly pretending to discover principle. That matters because the article's conflict is framed like a squabble over interpretation. It is not. It is a fight over who gets to define reality after the fact. Extortion with a flag on it. Trump's own language makes the underlying logic plain. He is not describing an ordinary maritime security measure. He is claiming the United States will be the guardian of a global shipping route and reimbursed at 20% for the privilege. Call that what it is: a toll booth backed by state power. Rubio already said the quiet part that Trump is now trying to bulldoze through. According to the source, he acknowledged that international law bars countries from charging tolls or fees on an international waterway. So the issue is not ignorance. It is deliberate disregard, followed by propaganda to make the violation sound like fairness. Cornyn is not a principled dissenter. Cornyn's objection is politically useful, not morally transformative. He backed Trump overwhelmingly in the Senate, and Trump still endorsed Paxton against him. Now Cornyn is tossing Rubio's words back at Trump because he has been publicly discarded by the same machine he spent years feeding. That is the important institutional fact. Republican loyalty is transactional, not constitutional. The moment Trump finds a better tool, he drops the old one. Cornyn's complaint exposes that hierarchy, but it does not absolve him from helping build it. The real misdirection. The source repeatedly leans on Iran as the cause of American economic pain, even though the timeline it presents says Trump invaded Iran, and then Americans suffered price spikes because the Strait of Hormuz became contested. That is not a neutral sequence. That is cause and effect. When a president starts a war, then proposes a toll regime on one of the world's key shipping routes, and then spokespeople sell the disruption as temporary pain on the road to pro-growth recovery, the misdirection is the point. Harm gets repackaged as strategy. Predation gets labeled administration. The public gets told to endure the cost while the people responsible trade talking points and primary endorsements. The pattern. This is what authoritarian political economy looks like in miniature. Command the state, invent a justification, transfer the cost to everyone else, and let allied elites fight only over who gets humiliated inside the machine. The issue is not whether Trump is being inconsistent. The issue is that he can turn international law, military power, and market disruption into a personal revenue fantasy and still have senior Republicans and White House officials managing the fallout instead of stopping it. The deeper pattern is simple. Power is being used to break rules, then used again to explain why the broken rules are necessary. That is not governance. It is plunder with a press release. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article. With the automated voice of Clara, thanks for listening.